Hey folks, how's it going? It is Sunday. It is a Q&A day, which means I get to sit here with my drink of choice, chill out on a Sunday, and generally go over your questions. So, no real ad read today, just me chilling out and getting involved in answering all the questions that you may have. So, bit of news from me today. I've been very, very busy this weekend. My grandpa was unfortunately taken into hospital to undergo some treatment. It's just frustrating. The health situation in the UK is frustrating. I understand people are overworked and underpaid, but that's no excuse for sheer incompetence at times that we have to put up with in this country. So, I've been dealing with that and am very frustrated at the moment. Very, very short, so please bear with me. I've had a good night's sleep. I was going to do this last night when I got in at like 11:30 at night, and then I thought, no. I was in the hospital all yesterday. I was shattered, so had a good night's sleep. Went and had a breakfast. My favourite breakfast place in West Kirby is called Green Onion. So check it out online, Green Onion. And I'm giving them a shout out because it is such a nice place to go and get your breakfast. If you're ever on the Wirral in the UK, get yourself over to there in West Kirby. It's really, really nice. And tell them I sent you. And you won't get a discount, but I'll get some brownie points. Right, so question time. Let's delve in. If you want to send me any questions, the Patreon is the place to go. That's where I get my questions from. So if you sign up to the Patreon, you can send me a question, and at least once a month, I'm going to try and do a Q&A. I was going to do it once a week, but I like these things to pile up so we can get a nice lengthy video in. This isn't going to be too lengthy because I'm tired. But we should have some fun. So let's jump in, shall we? Again, no names because some of these are from people who don't want to be named, and I can't be bothered going through and deciphering. Well, not deciphering, but it'll take me a while to set this video up. This video works as a raw thing. I sit down and I just read the questions. So, so first question is, Andy from Mediocre Hobbies always talks about one of the exercises they would do when he worked for Games Workshop. Some staff would be asked who their favourite army was and why, and if they had to collect them, how would they go about it? Yeah, we have to do that as well. So essentially, you would be asked to say, they would ask you, hey, North, what's your favourite army? Grey Knights. Why? And I'd give them my reasons. Okay, so if you could build your entire army of Grey Knights exactly the way that you want, how would you do it, right? And so I'd describe it, and they go, okay, that's all you need to say. That's all you need to say to customers, right? The problem with that is that customers know what you're doing. They're not stupid. Most of them know what you're doing. When you say, how would you build the army? If money was no object, and you're sitting there thinking, well, money is an object, mate. So if you don't mind trying to tempt me into buying things that I don't really need or want, thank you very much. She says, so I guess, who is your least favourite army? And how would you build a force of them if you had to? Oh, okay. Alright. So my least favourite army is Space Wolves. And I would try and fix the Space Wolves' reputation by having a renegade Space Wolf force who knows what they are, right? They're Reavers, they're renegades, they're pirates. They're basically space pirates. They're actual space Vikings. If you want to do space Vikings, do space Vikings. They would be raiders, they would be Reavers, they would be on one ship, right? So they'd have one ship called the Long Claw or something. I don't know. And it'd be this renegade traitor ship where they would go around stealing shit and hacking shit apart and generally being bad boys. And they'd be mostly on bikes as well because that'd be cool as shit. So that they're all on bikes, leather jackets, the whole 9 yards, and they're these Nordic Reaver assholes essentially. With all the trappings of Vikings and stuff like that. That's how I would do the Space Wolves. Fun fact: my Renegade army, so not the Astral Blades, my Renegade Space Marine army is going to be mostly bikes. So there you go. It is the Horus Heresy 2.0, Age of Darkness box set with a load of bikes essentially. Moving on. Question for your next Q&A when you're doing it. What is your opinion on Warhammer subscription magazines like Imperium and Stormbringer? I'm subbed to Imperium and I found it a great deal. That's cool, man. I've seen it in the shop. It does seem like a pretty cool deal. I just think that too many cooks and spoil the broth. You know what I mean? At times, I would rather they folded a lot of this into White Dwarf, because White Dwarf's numbers have been steadily declining for a little while now. So I'd rather they folded Stormbringer and Imperium into White Dwarf itself, and so you got all of that stuff with White Dwarf to make White Dwarf a bigger thing. So I prefer that they did that, but it's great, yeah, fantastic. Carry on. Nothing to see here. All good stuff. Sure, send it in. Right. My brother is German, is taking German classes, and is into Black Templars. Should I be concerned? Alright, so I had a guy not working for me. He was a relief staff member at my Games Workshop, and this guy was the most lovely guy. He was from South America. Brilliant dude, you know, absolutely nice. He was obsessed with German World War II tanks and uniforms, and World War One, to be fair. And he played Black Templars, and all of his, you know, guys in his army had German-sounding names, you know. Now, this guy was lovely. He had no opinions. I knew him quite well. He had no opinions that were anywhere near the right wing. He was all normal, you know, he was fine. So what I would say is, don't judge a book by its cover. Because some people who are into that stuff are into it because German names for things that are in combat just sound cool. That, and, you know, I'm sorry, the uniforms of the Germans in both wars were cooler. It just is what it is, right? It just is what it is. Trench coats are cool as fuck. That's never going to change, right? I had a girlfriend once. She was a bit mad, bit ginger, bit mad, and she was really, 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 really left-wing, but she had a real thing for German SS officers. I'm not joking. If she saw one in a movie, she was just like instantly turned on. She was like, that guy's sexy, right? That's just how she was, right? She was completely lefty. She was into all that stuff. She was campaigning. She would go on marches and things. She didn't have a right wing argument or bone in her body, but she would look at a tall guy with blue eyes and an alpha personality and would be like, you know, she would just go to goo. You know, so yeah, it doesn't mean that you're that way inclined just because you think the uniforms look cool. You know what I mean? Now, it's when you start dressing in it, that's when you gotta start. If he ever comes home with like an SS badge or something, that's when you should have a word with him. You know what I mean? But if you're just into the conflicts and stuff, nah, it's fine. Don't worry about it. Going on reenactments, ooh, yeah. If you've seen Peep Show, a TV show called Peep Show, you'll know what I mean. Alrighty. So, North, hope all is well. Just a few short Q&A items for you. Question: what is your favourite movie or movies? Gladiator. Why? Because it's the movie that got me into ancient history, and it's the movie that continues to get people into ancient history. And to be honest with you, it's a perfect movie. You know, beginning, middle, and end. A perfectly written movie. No, there's no fat on it whatsoever. It's brilliant. It's a summer blockbuster, and it is everything that a sword and sandals, you know, ancient history epic is supposed to have. And it's the movie that everything from Kingdom of Heaven, even though it's medieval, right down to Troy and other things have been trying to emulate ever since, and none of them have captured it, because none of them have given it the respect that it deserves. You know, the ancient world. The colour palette in Gladiator is just sensational, man. Just sensational. And it works even better because if you watch the movie, you realise that whilst Maximus isn't based on a single person, he's based on a lot of people from Roman history, but their stories are all rolled up into one poster child, basically, person to get you into Roman history. It's brilliant. I love it. Anyway, Ben-Hur too. Fantastic. But Gladiator. I'm going with Gladiator. Do you collect anything else outside of the hobby? I don't collect anything outside of the hobby, but I'm a big gamer. I love playing video games on my own. Crusader Kings 3 is the current thing I'm burning through at the moment. I'm waiting for the new Cyberpunk DLC to drop, and all that stuff. See, I'm lucky enough to have a good PC that can run stuff like that. I love it. Absolutely brilliant. But no, I don't really collect anything else. I don't think. I don't really collect Warhammer because I'm I play Warhammer. Do you know what I mean? I paint it and then I play with it. The main thing is playing on the tabletop for me. That's the end goal, you know? I don't know. Anyway. Who is your favourite actor? Oh, I don't really have one. What is your favourite album? Album. It depends on my mood, man. What's my current favourite album? Let me have a look at Spotify. What is my current favourite album? Tool, Lateralis is my current favourite album. It's my most played one so far. There you go. Tool, Lateralis. At the moment, but it changes. Can you do an American accent? Let's hear it. No, I can't. Here are a few lines for you. Hey man, can I get another beer, please? Okay, let me try this. Oh no, I can't say that, man. I'm just going to sound like an absolute chode here. Hey man, can I get another beer, please? How's that? I don't know. So the last line he wanted me to say was, "Listen, bro, if I wanted to watch real soccer, I wouldn't put on a game of MLS. It's just not that good." Good lad. Moving on. Cheers, man. That was you know you are. Thank you for the questions. I'm not going to read that because it's a personal one. Here's a question. How different are Games Workshop stores ran across all the UK and Europe? Are they similar to the ones here in the US? My store in Central California seems to be really chill, both customer and manager-wise. Yeah, that's because most stores in the US are generally left alone. In general, they're left alone to do their own thing. It's only really the UK stores that are hammered by Games Workshop HQ, because we live in the same country as Games Workshop HQ, and they can come and visit us at any time. We are way within their reach of influence, you know what I mean? So, we're in their backyard, and this is, whilst it's not the biggest market for them. I think it might be one of the biggest, maybe the big, anyway. It's still a huge market where that they can genuinely influence because they're right here, you know? So the big wigs like to keep us under control. So that's why it's different. That's why it's more chill. That's why a lot of the guys you will get in America tend to be like, hey man, just get on with it, no problem. Call me if you need anything, you know? Because they're not really into profits that much. Always the exception, don't get me wrong, but yeah, most of the time, that's why they run differently. Hey North, I have an interesting question for you. Okay. My local game store offers 3D printing and recast ordering services, as well as selling your regular Games Workshop products. Ooh, don't out them, man. The manager part owner is very blatant about this. He is a total bellend, by the way. Keeps his printer in plain view and prints out models. The plank, the money he gets from his outside hustle, goes into his pocket, not the store's. He once tried to sell me a 3D printed Space Marine army for 800 Australian dollars on a higher purchase plan. The cheek of the man. Yeah, dude, that is cheeky. That's smart, because Australia is one market that is really up against it in terms of, you know, Games Workshop not exactly giving them what they want and what they need. And number two, that is really cheeky. Yeah. He does seem like a bit of a bellend. However, there is a lot going on with that store. People are leaving due to this guy's bullying and rudeness, and his partners have tried to buy him out, but so far he has refused all offers. You see, he wants his hobby kingdom. He's that kind of a guy. My prediction for the store is that it's going to end in a hobby nightmare of epic proportions, like a 2-hour special or something. But if Games Workshop finds out about his little side hustle, they'll make an example out of him like the police did when they found out the shop that was selling untaxed cigarettes. Have you ever come across anything like this before? No, because that is a very cheeky thing to do. Now, Games Workshop can't get him to shut down his store. They can stop giving him products to sell, and they can sue him, is what they can do. And they would. I completely believe that they would. Because as soon as they let too many people like this slip through the net, the more they're letting their market share be gobbled up by people who are selling their products, or things that are like their products, for a lot of money less than what they're selling them for. And by the way, 3D printing is rapidly catching up in certain terms with what Games Workshop can do. You know, I don't think it's there quite yet, but it's getting there. It really is getting there. So, yeah. Cheeky. Very, very cheeky. And I think if they did find out, they wouldn't be very happy. They would probably sue him. And they'd probably sue him out of business. Because they don't want him in business. Okay, so let's have a little look on here. Have you ever been banned from attending a Games Workshop event because of the channel? Do you think you could ever get a partnership with them for reveals, or are you on a blacklist like Valrak appears to be? Cheers. Yeah, I saw this. I saw that video of Valrak apparently being blacklisted by Games Workshop. Here's the thing. The reason why I think he's been blacklisted by Games Workshop isn't because they don't like him. Right? It's not because they don't like him. The reason why he has been blacklisted is because he keeps giving things away on his channel about reveals and stuff. Now, everything he's doing is perfectly legit. He's doing nothing illegal. He's hearing it from other sources, and he's just telling you what he's heard. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing illegal with that. But Games Workshop are well within their rights to say, please don't talk to this person, because if you tell him anything, then it gives him power to then give away our reveals before they happen, right? They know he's got a big platform. They know he's been right quite a lot of times when he's been saying things that are coming up, you know? And they know that he's got an inside source, so they've likely found the inside source, told them to shut up, and told everybody else to not talk to him and not have him at events because he's going to basically get information that you shouldn't be privy to. That's probably what it is. You know, I'm not saying it's right. I'm trying to give you a reason why they've done it. It sucks. You know, I like Valrak a lot. I think he's the dad of the hobby for most of us. A really cool dude, and he's not a shill. I hate when people say that. He has a go at Games Workshop just as much as the next guy. He just loves Warhammer. That just is what it is, right? People who call him a shill are just negative, and this is why we can't have nice things. You know, that's essentially what they are. Because I don't see any reason why you would look at his videos and say that. The other thing is, that is why that he is on a blacklist. He's not on a blacklist because they don't like him, or they don't like what he says, or that he is very critical of the product sometimes. That's not why he's on a blacklist. Okay, cool. So with me, I'm fairly sure I'm on a blacklist. Yes, but not because I have a go at the channel, and not because I have a go at Games Workshop on the channel a lot, because I do. And whenever they do something I don't like, I call it out. But whenever they do something I like, I also call it out. I like to give a balanced opinion. I like to have a balanced channel. Which is why you don't see me... you'll always see me try and balance my argument out with, I like this about this, and I don't like this about this, right? You know? And you'll find in a lot of my videos, even my rant ones, is I will try and see it from Games Workshop's point of view, and I'll explain to you why they're doing something that's perceived to be negative to the hobby, right? Because there's always a reason for it. I think a lot of anger comes from Games Workshop are doing a certain thing and we don't know why they're doing it and it's pissing us off. So I think a lot of people, I tend to calm down, I think. I calm a lot of people down by saying this is why they're doing this. And, you know, from an inside perspective, that's why they're doing this, right? These are the things that we would do when I was there. This is why I think they're doing this. And a lot of people tend to go, oh, okay, fine, and they move on. You know, still pissed off, but I can see why they're doing it, you know? No, I'm on a blacklist because I believe most people who aren't... Okay, put it this way. If you once worked for Games Workshop, okay, if you worked for the company once, and you're critical about the company in any way on YouTube, you're done. That's it. Like, you're not getting any sort of... You're giving up your right to free access to anything. You're giving up your right to talking to them, to being invited to things, to getting any sort of free products to review. You're giving up your right to do that. If you've worked for Games Workshop and then you go online and you talk negatively about Games Workshop, you're done. The minute in 2018, after I left the company, I did a video on here, nearly a 2-hour video, explaining my experiences working for Games Workshop in black and white, the positives and the negatives of working for Games Workshop, and I didn't hold anything back. It's still on the channel now. I didn't hold anything back, and for the longest time, that was my biggest video of like 70, 80,000 views, right? And I'm not fairly sure. I was told verbatim. There were people in recruitment who saw that video. There were people in the studio who saw that video. There were people in retail quite high up who saw that video and weren't best pleased, All right, they weren't best pleased with anything that with certain things that I said. Even though I just said verbatim what happened to me and what I went through, and I balanced it again by saying it was one of the best jobs I've ever had. I just wish it didn't ruin itself at the end. I wish the politicking didn't get in the way, because there's so many people there who make your life absolutely wonderful when you're going to work. It's just there are too many people there who do the opposite, right? That's it. It was a balanced view. I was very upset at the time. I was very angry at the time. I even wrote down the script. I wrote it down exactly, everything that happened to me. It took me weeks to write this, and I just read it out on stream, and it was there for nearly 2 hours. And since that video, I was getting emails back and forth. I was even told, like, go and do a YouTube channel. Yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be a cool thing for you to do. Like, manager friends, you know, well, a few of them have left now, but most of them were at the company, were saying, yeah, go and do it. It's great, awesome. You know, one person in recruitment. Yeah, that's cool, man. Yeah, that's cool. You know, if you want to, like, review products and stuff, no problem. Yeah, go and do that. Cool. You know, the minute I did that video, that was it. No emails, no contact, no nothing. The only thing I have is the WhatsApp group where I've got me and a load of other managers and a load of other studio workers are in there chatting and talking. That's it. That's the only thing I've got now. And everything else stopped. I used to get an email sent to me, just my personal email address, just from the company, just saying, you know, here's what's coming. You know, here's things that are happening. That stopped. Everything stopped. So I had to basically, the idea that I had for the channel was to do a Games Workshop channel, and I had to scrap that because the few weeks after that, all my contacts stopped, all of my emails stopped, my text stopped getting replied to, everything stopped. And they're under no obligation to contact me, by the way. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying they made that decision to step away from me talking to them and me being, you know, around. So I said, okay, fine. I have, 200, 300 subscribers? You know, I don't have anything here. I don't have a skin in the game anyway. I'll do what I want to do with my channel going forward, and I won't do Games Workshop stuff. So for about a year, I did writing stuff, I did gaming stuff, and my channel went nowhere because obviously the market is so saturated for that. And I did a few Games Workshop related videos that did really well, and sort of gave me a hint that if I ever took it in that direction, then things would certainly take off because I had something to say, and apparently I had an interesting way of saying it. So that was always on the back burner in my mind. One day I'm going to do some more Games Workshop videos. I went to America, and I swear to you, I hadn't released a video for a year. The day after my relationship over there broke apart and I was a broken man, right? The channel took off. For no reason. For no reason, my old videos started getting loads of views. And that sort of like, I still wasn't monetized because I didn't have that many subscribers and I didn't have that many watchers. I was just approaching the monetization, you know. But I just thought, well, I could make something of that. And when I got home to the UK, that's when I decided, you know what? I'm getting back into teaching. I need something to take my mind off the stress of teaching. I'm going to do the channel. And here we are, right? So weirdly, the entire channel came from me being cut off of Games Workshop. It came from that, right? It came from me doing that. And I don't blame them. If it was me, if it was my company, I'd do the same thing. As soon as somebody said anything negative about my company, that was like, you know, seen as like insider stuff. Like, you're not meant to say that, right? You were here, you know, please don't tell us how we train people. I did that a few times. I regret that now, right? But I wanted to give people an insight to what working Games Workshop is like, because most of my early emails that I would get were, hey dude, I'm applying for Games Workshop. What do I do? Do you recommend it? You know, how do you recommend it? And I know a lot of people who watched my earlier videos and said, you know what, I could make a go of this. And they've applied and got jobs at Games Workshop. They work for the company now through my videos, right? So that just shows you it's not all negative, because people are actually working there now who've, you know, watched the videos, applied. I talk them through the process of getting the interview, doing their letter, doing their emails back and forth, doing the interview, how they should answer certain questions that are going to get asked, and they've gotten jobs, which is great. So it's not all negative. It just happens that, yeah, if as soon as you've worked there and you say anything negative, you're gone. And this is why most people who leave Games Workshop, they will either talk about them in a neutral sense, or they won't talk about them at all, right? You will notice ex-Games Workshop people who are on YouTube, most of them never talk about Games Workshop. And if they do, it's in a neutral sense, in a tongue-in-cheek way. They never rant, they never rave, they never get angry. They never say that something is annoying them, or they don't like something. They'll give you funny anecdotes, but they won't go whole hog. As soon as you do what I did, you're done. You're done. You're not talking to them. You're not getting involved. You're not, even people who you thought were your friends will not speak to you anymore because they're told not to. Right? It sucks, but it is what it is, and I can understand why they do it. But yes, I would say I'm on a blacklist forever, and that's why, essentially. Right? Okay, cool. So, love you all long time. I will speak to you tomorrow for some more Hobby Nightmares. There are some sensational ones coming up, man. I don't know which one I'm going to do tomorrow, but I have read one today that I was just like, that is too good not to share. So, tomorrow should be a doozy. I love you all long time. I'll speak to you tomorrow. Have a wonderful rest of your Sunday. Please chill out, relax. It is getting warmer, which is good. Have a good one. Bye.